society that's ever existed has been an attempt at a search engine. It's just that capitalism has searched, remember, we're searching possibility space here. That's what the cosmos is doing, feeling out possibilities that were invisible, feeling out possibilities that seemed absolutely impossible. The cosmos is constantly squeezing its way into impossibility and making it bloom in ways that are utterly beyond belief. And of all the systems on the planet, the best search engine of impossibility, taking impossibility and yanking it into daily reality and then making us take it for granted so we start dreaming of new impossibilities, has been the capitalist system. That doesn't mean it's the only system, and it doesn't mean that it has to stay the way it is. It has to go far beyond where it is today. I mean, for example, the capitalist system is burdened with bureaucracy. Every one of our major institutions, arms of government, is controlled by bureaucracy, and that includes the medical system, it includes the justice system, it includes the governmental system, it includes the financial system, and most important, it includes the corporate system. And bureaucracy tends to be very indifferent, bigger than life, and tends to impede some of this creativity. And we now have the tools to get beyond bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is based on several inventions from the 19th century. It's based on, in roughly 1840, the invention of a central office, a whole bunch of people not working in their homes anymore, but working together in one place. The invention of the telephone and the typewriter in 1876, and then the most important invention of all, the central file cabinet in 1895. But guess what? We don't need central file cabinets anymore, because we've got Google. We don't need the tools of the central office anymore because we've got laptops. We don't need the telephone system in a complex office because we've got our cell phones. And that means it's time for a bureaucratic revolution. To use a Marxian term, the tools of production have changed dramatically. Now it's a matter of reinterpreting them in new form. So does bureaucracy have a long way to go? Does capitalism have a long way to go? Yes, its next task is to invent its new form. And is it the only system capable of inventing a new form? Not at all. Look at Osama bin Laden. He is a master of personal technology. Are there any pentagons running Al-Qaeda? Are there any central offices? No, this man has mastered the new art of personal technology, the art beyond bureaucracy, to the nth degree. Can we learn from him? You bet.
I think this is very interesting because this highlights problems that some people have with your books. Because they come to your books and think, oh, here is a book that is saying, this book, my ideas, will solve the problem. And nobody solves the problem.
No.
All you do is explore stimulating ways to rethink the problem.
Well, I operate on, first of all, I operate on the basis of the principle that if I change your way of, new ways of seeing lead to new ways of being. If I change your way of perceiving things, I'll change your way of operating and eventually help you find different solutions. But you're right, the day that we stop having problems is the day that we're dead. Because it's our task to perceive problems. It's our task to perceive things as puzzles. It's our task to take things that seem incomplete, that we don't even see, and turn them into puzzles so we can solve them. Because that's what evolution is all about, with us or without us. That's what evolution is about. Finding your way into the impossible and making it real, and so real that it becomes every day and we take it for granted, and then have to find new problems. Okay, we'll do a couple more questions.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you very much for attending. This is very stimulating, very interesting.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for coming, really.
This is kind of my question. In 1993, the Islamic terrorists drove a car bomb into the World Trade Center. 8 years later, the Islamic terrorists and young men who probably are illiterate drove the airplane into the World Trade Center. Every day, computers fail in businesses in New York City. They're down for whatever reason. Communist China, where there's no political freedom and no answering questions or challenging of government, went from a third world country to a superpower within 20 years, mostly because American corporations sent their American jobs over to Communist China. I don't know if this is true, but I understand that Karl Marx said that capitalism will sell the instruments of their own destruction to us. My question is Americans becoming so sophisticated or so scientific that we've lost our common sense, and the primitive society actually will be able to defeat us in the coming years?
There's a chapter in my book, The Lucifer Principle, called Who Are the Next Barbarians? And it demonstrates, with 2,200 years of history, that every culture that's become a superpower of its time, the Persians, the Greeks, all of them, has been overturned by people who are regarded as ridiculous barbarians. Because the ridiculous barbarians were willing to devote all their time and energy to thinking about war, while the people who felt they were on top of the world and would be forever thought only of peace and new ways of exploiting peace. It is a problem.